Dorothy was 72 years old. Her son Michael died the previous winter at 47. A cerebral hemorrhage. He had been fine the evening before. He had come home from work, made something simple for dinner, fallen asleep in front of the television. Sometime in the night he collapsed. A neighbor noticed 2 days of mail outside his apartment door and called building management. The manager opened the door and found Michael on the living room floor. Dorothy received the call before dawn. She drove herself to the hospital in Indianapolis and arrived 3 hours later. A doctor came out to the hallway and spoke carefully. Dorothy heard the beginning of what he said. The rest did not reach her. The hospital floor felt very cold. She did not know when she had sat down on it. Michael had lived alone since his divorce 10 years earlier. No children. He worked at a small export company and called Dorothy once a week without fail. The calls were always short. "Mom, did you eat? Are you sleeping okay? How's your knee?" She said she was fine. He said he was fine. That was usually the whole call. Dorothy could not recall the last time they had talked about anything below the surface. When he was alive, it did not feel like something missing. The funeral lasted 4 days. Dorothy moved through them without quite feeling like herself. She accepted condolences and said thank you. Michael's ex-wife came on the first afternoon, stood quietly near the casket for a few minutes, and left. His co-workers came in a group. Dorothy could not have named a single face afterward. On the last day at the crematorium, when what remained of her son was placed into her hands, the weight was wrong. Too light for 47 years. She drove herself home. She sat on the couch and did not turn on the television. She thought about getting up for water. She stayed where she was until the room went dark around her. 10 days after the funeral, the apartment building sent a notice. The unit needed to be cleared. Dorothy drove to Indianapolis alone. People offered to come with her. She said no. She did not want anyone else's eyes on Michael's things. She let herself in with the key they gave her. The apartment looked like he had stepped out for an errand. A mug upside down in the dish rack. Papers open on the desk. His phone plugged into the charger by the nightstand. She put the phone in her bag. Clearing the apartment took 2 days. His clothes went to a donation center. Books went into boxes. Kitchen things she gave to a neighbor or threw away. His life fit into several boxes and a few trash bags. She stood in the empty apartment when it was done. Then she locked up and walked out. That night at a motel near the highway she charged Michael's phone. She did not know the password. The lock screen showed a photo of him smiling outdoors somewhere. Genuinely smiling, the kind of smile she had not seen in years. She had heard his voice every week but had not seen his face much. She stared at the photo for a long time. She tried his birthday. The phone opened. She looked through his photos first. Recent ones going back in time. A lunch spot near his office. A stray cat on a sidewalk. A sunset through his apartment window. Then she stopped. There was a photo of Dorothy at her kitchen table last Thanksgiving, taken from behind. She had been arranging the table. She did not know Michael had taken it. She kept looking. There were more. Dorothy on her front porch. Dorothy laughing on the phone. Dorothy in her garden, kneeling beside the flower bed. A dozen photos of her she had never seen, all taken without her knowing. She found the drafts folder in his messages. Unsent texts, all addressed to her. 11 of them. The first read, "Mom, it's getting cold, make sure you're layering up. I've been having kind of a rough stretch lately. Nothing big, just." It stopped there, unsent. The second, "Mom, I dreamed about Dad tonight. In dreams he always looks young. Do you ever dream about him?" The third, "Mom, I keep thinking about the time in 8th grade. When I yelled at you. You walked into the kitchen without saying a word. I could hear you at the sink. I still think about that." Dorothy set the phone down. Then she picked it up again. There was a voice memo app with a notification badge. Several recordings. One had a title, "For Mom, 3 minutes and 22 seconds. Recorded 3 months before he died." She pressed play. A pause. Michael clearing his throat. Then his voice. "Mom, this is a little strange, but I can't say this in a regular conversation. So I'm just recording it. I'll figure out later if I send it. Mom, I got a health checkup and the doctor said my blood pressure is high. He told me to rest and cut down on stress, and I can't really do either one. I didn't want to tell you because I knew you'd worry. But not telling you doesn't feel right either. And Mom, I keep thinking about that time in 8th grade. When I said what I said to you. Do you remember? I do. You walked into the kitchen without a word. And I could hear you doing the dishes. I've thought about that moment a lot over the years. I think I wanted you to yell back at me. It would have been easier. I was awful to you and I'm sorry. I should have said that a long time ago. And Mom, I love you. I don't know if I've said it in a way that actually landed. I'm saying it now. I thought about playing this for you next time I come home. But that's probably too weird. Let's just have a really good dinner when I see you. Okay, Mom. Dorothy sat with the phone in her hand for a long time. After the recording ended, the motel room heater clicked. A truck passed on the highway outside. She heard all of it and none of it. Michael had never come for that dinner. He had recorded this 3 months before he died and never sent it. He said he would decide later. There was no later. She remembered the moment he was talking about. She had walked into the kitchen and done the dishes. She had cried over the sink quietly, letting the water cover the sound. She had forgiven him completely by the next morning. If there had ever been anything to forgive. She had not thought about it in decades. He had never stopped. Dorothy keeps Michael's phone charged on the shelf beside his photograph. She plays the recording sometimes. She cried every time at first. Now only sometimes. She plays it anyway. It is his voice. 3 minutes and 22 seconds of it. She does not remember if she ever told Michael. She loved him in a way that reached him. Probably not. She was not someone who said it easily. Neither was he. They both assumed the other one knew. He recorded it anyway, alone in his apartment, at 47 years old, and never sent it. She found it after he was gone. The lilacs in her yard are opening now. Last spring when they bloomed, Michael called to ask if the flowers were up yet. She said yes. He said good. That was the call. This year the same flowers are opening. The phone does not ring. Parents are not supposed to outlive their children. That is the common understanding, and it is true. But knowing that does not help you carry it. Dorothy carries it. She plays the recording and carries it one more day. That is what the voice in the phone gives her. That is why she keeps it charged. If this story reached you, please subscribe. There are more lives like this one, quietly lived and rarely told. We will keep telling them. Thank you for listening all the way through.